This episode is sponsored by Hello Honeydew, a leading free utilities concierge service. Hello Honeydew is a free service designed to relieve the stress of a moving house, and it saves you time, money, and headaches on all your essential home service needs. We will hook up your gas, electricity, internet, TV, water, and home security systems in just one 15 to 20-minute phone call. You will also receive a free Amazon Echo Dot just for setting up an appointment. If you have closed on a house and have received your closing date, call us now for a free appointment and a free Amazon Echo Dot at 732-859-2019 and visit us at hellohoneydew.com for more information. From the studios in beautiful Oceanport, New Jersey, welcome to the biggest and greatest podcast ever. I'm your host, Ray K. Hey everybody, Ray K here, and this is another special edition of my podcast with myself. I will be talking about most of the things that I like talking about. Also, I'll be talking about the last 3 weeks on things that happened to me, my business, my travels, other experiences. So enjoy, sit back. It's not going to be too long, but I always enjoy these kind of shows because it gives me a chance to have people learn about things I see and saw, and also learn about my past mistakes. That's how you learn. You got to learn from others. It's just you kind of hope that you're not the one that people are learning from, but I might as well pass along the wisdom. Anyway, I will start with one of my things is whenever you start something new, always start slow. Don't jump into things fast. Every time, I think it's literally every time I've jumped in fast, I got burnt. And that's like 100% of the time because you really don't know what you're getting into. Also, you really have to trial and error it. You have to learn and adjust. And if you go all in, you're basically counting on luck. And luck can be on your side sometimes, but I will say luck is probably like 1 out of 5 shot of you being lucky, because you analyze what you're going to get into. It looks good. There's probably 80% of the things you don't know yet, but, you feel comfortable enough to give it a shot. And, if you don't get lucky, best case is you'll make a little bit of money or you have a little success. Worst case is you get totally burnt. I'll give you an example. When I went into real estate, my first venture, North Carolina, I'll tell you the year and then you'll laugh. It was 2007, market flying. I had a connection in Charlotte, and they said that I could buy one of those model homes, where the it's a home. It's the initial home of the development, and the way it works is the developer guarantees your rent because they have to show it to all their people to use as a showcase, and they pay you to they pay you just to hold on to it. And sometimes these real estate places, these developments, they take 3 or 4 years to sell out. So you could have 3 to 4 years of rent guaranteed coming in. You don't have to worry about collecting it from a regular renter because it's the company that's paying you, and it sounds almost ideal. Real estate was rocketing up, which is kind of dumb because, of course, that means you're getting in at the high. And, I said, well, this is great. So I went with one. Okay, so I'm getting rent. It's covering my mortgage just about, but I figure, okay, real estate is going to keep going up. So what if I break even on the, on the rent and the mortgage thing? So then I bought 2 more. And then I bought 2 more. So I'm up to 5 now. My rent's like, is like $12,000 a month. It's paid for by the company, the developer, and my mortgage is like, it's like $500 more than that. So it's even a little more. And I was willing to give that a shot because, of course, real estate's going to keep going up. I mean, I'm an expert now. I'm in real estate. So now comes 2008, and boom, crash. Market starts going down. You see signs of it. Lehman Brothers goes out of business, and I'm like, uh-oh, this ain't good. But I said, hey, but I still got 3 to 4 years. These developments, there's like 180 houses they got to sell. Maybe it might even take longer to sell them. And so by 4 years, I said, all right, so what? I lose $500 a month. By then it'll recover. So I have a 4-year run. The mortgage will be getting paid down a little bit. So I'm thinking I'm okay. Okay, wrong. What happens now is they cut the rest of the developments. So instead of 4 years, it goes down to 1 year because there's a thing that it's only a 1-year guarantee. And so instead of 160 houses, they cut it down to now they're going to only do 30 houses because the market's crashing. So after a year, all my rent expires, and now I got to go out and hustle and find people to rent my place. Oh, this is fun. How do I do that? I'm in New Jersey. This thing's in North Carolina. I hire a rental property place, a great company. I mean, they got me renters. It took a few months, but eventually I got them in. Wasn't paying as high as I was with the other one, so now I'm down about $1,500 a month. All right, not gonna kill me, I guess. But now I got to collect the rent from these people. There's 5 different parties, and now there's risk galore. Because say I lose half of them, now I'm at like a $6,000 negative cash flow. If I can't get any, if something stupid happens, I'm like down $12,000 a month because I got to cover that mortgage. All right, okay, this isn't good. The market's going down, so it's down 10%. Market, if you remember that time, the market was real bad. So you know what? I had enough. I had a couple successes in other things. So I said, you know what? I'll take that success and I'll just get out of this market and I'll call it a break even. Even though I'm going to lose on the real estate, I justified it in my own head that I'll just break even because I made the money on this other thing. So anyway, I get out of the real estate and take a lump, take a loss, but I was actually very relieved about it because, I just have to deal with it anymore. Lo and behold, thinking back on it, the market's recovered, and I'm not even looking at what the prices are now, but I would have probably been like in super great shape if I would have just hung on over the last 10 years, But then again, there's things you don't know. I would still have to collect the rents, and maybe I would have had a couple people renege on me. And then, you really can't think like that. You can't think back. You just have to do, everyone knows this, that you just have to move forward. You can't beat yourself up over other stuff. So you can learn from my experience. Don't go all in, right away, especially if you have no idea what you're getting into, because there's 80 to 90% of things you don't know, so even if it's small, I have a stock picking service the right 81% of the time. Yeah, it's tempting to go all in, but I learn from my mistakes. I learn from others' mistakes. So now I go in a little bit. Okay, I had a couple successes there, and I wish I would have put more into it, you think. But if you do and you go all in, what happens if that 19% hits? Then you're out all that, So it's just a golden rule, treat others like you want to be treated. And I guess the other golden rule is, start slow in about everything you do and build up to it until you really learn maybe 95% of what you're getting into. Then you can make smart decisions. So that's that lesson. Number 2, I want to talk about my Hello Honeydew, which is my concierge service, utilities concierge. So we're like a hotel concierge, but we help people navigate their utilities, the gas, electric, TV, internet, home security, probably forgetting a few things, water. So I talked about it on the last one. So far we have 6 corporate accounts, and mostly are realtors. I think there's a mortgage company in there, because I'm learning in real estate. I've been doing real estate now. I guess I'll call it real estate. I guess I am in it for 3 months. Going on the 3-month anniversary. And it's amazing how much I learned. One thing I did learn is that the real estate agent is the king or queen. They are number one. They control the whole marketplace. Everything starts with the realtor. I mean, there's no question about that. The realtor makes it happen. I mean, they got to get the listing. They got to show the buyer, the house. They got to sit with the open houses. They got to find that buyer. And once they do, everything starts. The magic starts happening once that house is purchase. So they got to find the house, then they got to sell the house, and then that person probably needs a mortgage, and then they'll ask the realtor for possible recommendations for a mortgage. They need a title company. The realtor knows the title company, and everything rallies around that realtor, and everyone is kissing the realtor's cheek because they want a part of their business. And there's a lot of networking things going on out there, and the realtor sits on top of that perch. I mean, there's no doubt, and I noticed that. Because if a realtor gives a recommendation to their client, because they got the relationship, because they're seeing them, they're buying the house, so the customer loves the realtor because they got the house of their dreams, all because of the realtor, and the realtor 95% of the time the customer will listen to the realtor. I mean, it's just the way it is. And I remember when I bought my house, if you ask the realtor for advice on who should I use for this or that, you're going to listen. So we're really realizing how important that is, and we're leaning all out to the realtor. And we thought the mortgage guys or the title guys were big. They're important because they're part of the process, and they have access to people that buy homes, and I'm sure they want to have their customers have the hassle-free service of not being able to hook all those things up and being on hold and trying to navigate it all. And plus we get better deals for them. But here's what I found out too is, say, a mortgage guy, even though the mortgage guy is important, because without the mortgage guy, the person may not be able to, buy a house, because they got to be able to be maybe pre-qualified. They have to qualify for a mortgage, because I'd say 80% of the purchases are mortgage purchases, not cash. There is cash. So the mortgage guy is like a workhorse too. I mean, he's got to hustle. He's got to fill all that paperwork stuff you got to do and make sure you're able to get that mortgage. So he's an important part of it. And a realtor needs a good mortgage guy, in order to be able to get the mortgage, So, naturally you think the mortgage guy must be pretty darn important, because, everyone needs everybody else. But we're finding out, if it's a great relationship, it doesn't matter. The mortgage guy will give this free service to their client. But whose client is it? Is it the mortgage guy's client, or is it the realtor's client, or is it both their clients? I mean, if I'm the realtor, this is the psychology of it all, and I give a lead. I sell a house and I refer a mortgage guy to my home buyer to get the mortgage. In my mindset, that's my deal. I mean, I got the deal. I'm giving you this thing. I could give it to anybody else out of the other 5,000 mortgage guys, but I'm giving it to you. And a lot of people might feel, I don't know, territorial that why are you calling my client, and why are you going over my head and offering them this free service? It's my client. So the mortgage guys, this is part of my show, by the way. I'm a straight shooter on this. I don't want to, I'm just giving full disclosure on how things work. Sometimes the mortgage guy doesn't want to tee off the realtor by having that possible scenario happen. And so he'd rather not even deal with it and not deal with this stuff. And in some cases, they want to, there goes my phone. Okay. You're going to have to let that thing ring, because it's going to go to the machine. It's a house phone thing. So that's a whole nother story, by the way. We'll have to talk about how the house phone's on the next show. But it's just interesting how that realtor has all that sway, unless it's a great relationship. If it's a great relationship, and then the mortgage guy, would just say, hey, Joe, I'm going to give him this free service, as a gift from me. Or he could say, I'll give it as a gift from you, but I want to give them this free service because it helps them and it makes me look good, because I'm helping him, and I want to make it hassle free, as any person that wants to deliver good service will do. They want to make it as great as an experience as possible. But as we're finding out, I'm thinking, hey, you're giving someone a gift. Why would anyone be upset about it? But there is a situation that the realtor owns it. I mean, he owns the territory. So that's just that fact of life. But the good thing is the mortgage guys are giving us the realtors, referring us to them. So that's the way we're going about that, is going to the mortgage guys, and then we're contacting their realtors that refer them to business to make sure that the realtor is on board, that they get the notoriety of giving this free gift to their customer, and everybody's happy. So it's another one of those things that you learn as you go. And, I'm sure 3 months from now, when I'm 6 months into this thing, I'll learn a lot more. You don't know what you don't know type of deal. And, but we learned that, and it's starting to, now we're understanding it, because it's better. I heard a quote once. It's better to understand understand than to be misunderstood. So now I'm understanding, but I hate being misunderstood too, but I'd rather understand. I guess that's more important. So that's the story with that one. And then my last thing is I took a Colorado trip this week. I did my early flight, 6 a.m. it leaves. And if you're going to leave at 6 or 8, you might as well leave at 6, because the first flight, like I said last time, and you get out early. If you're going to get up at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning, it doesn't really matter because you're getting up early. So you might as well get up super early. You don't got to deal with any possible traffic on the Garden State Parkway that starts actually picking up at around 6:30. I mean, it gets earlier all the time. So now you're out on the road at 4:30. It's early, or maybe even 4. You get there early. No cars are on the Parkway Turnpike. You zoom in, and I got into Colorado at 8:30 in the morning. I mean, it's almost amazing that you can get into a place on the other side of the country because of the time zone factor that early. So you have like a full day. You could even do a commute and come back that day. I mean, and have a full day in Colorado, even though I stay 2 nights. So I go out there to look at a hemp company, which is a big deal now because because of the Farm Act, some people call it the Hemp Act, but it's actually the Farm Act of 2018, passed in December of 2018, that takes hemp off that controlled drug thing, like marijuana is. It's a controlled substance, so it's like heroin. I mean, if you're on a controlled list, it's not good. So that means on the hemp being removed from that list, it's like an agricultural product that anyone can grow hemp in all the states. It's a federal thing. Some states actually outlaw it, from what I heard. I got to do more research, but federally it's okay. So it's like the opposite of the marijuana, where the states are okay, but federally it's shaky. Hemp is federally okay. You could grow this thing anywhere in the country, and Colorado always, seems to be at the peak with this whole cannabis world. And so I went out there to visit a referral of mine from a good friend, just to check it out, because you really got to see for yourself. And it's. You got to take your time, and you got to take your money and go out and see these things. So I went out there, and I was extremely impressed. I saw the greenhouses. I saw all the hemp growing. I mean, you feel it, you touch it, you smell it. It has a very powerful smell. And what they're taking out of this hemp is, the big thing is the CBD oil, which is like the non-hallucinatory part of the plant, and that's like the health part. And the more I'm reading about this stuff, it's amazing. The benefits, there's like hundreds of benefits to this thing, anywhere from anxiety to nervousness to if you have a tremor, if you have aches, it's something you just literally drink it through like a dropper, and you just take a couple sips of it. I haven't done it yet, but I brought some back with me in order to, I'm going to try it. I'm going to have a few family guys try it and see how it works. People are swearing by it since it's a natural plant. There's no testing on it to be proven. I guess that's where the pharmaceuticals come in, and they control a lot of the business because you got to prove stuff, and you know how that works. With all the side effects and the nasty side effects and all the money and all that stuff. Well, this is still in the, from what I'm hearing, it's still in the infancy. I heard the third inning, if you want to use a baseball analogy. Then I heard infancy on someone else that's very clued into the market. So it's very early. So I went to check them out. There's so much money in it. It's almost mind-blowing what I was witnessing. It's the public companies now that are trading in this hemp CBD are trading at, now I have to confirm this, which is my other little pet peeve. You got to confirm stuff. You can't just like take what somebody says. You really, it takes more work, but you got to really look it out. I did check out 2 of the companies, and that is true. They trade at 60 times revenue. So if you're doing, I'll just do a stupid low number, well, kind of low, $3 million in revenue, Wall Street will evaluate you on some of these things at $180 million evaluation. So multiply 3 million times 12 for a year of 36 million. 36 million a year you're doing in revenue, which is pretty nice because there's big profit margins because these seeds cost so low, and then you sell them, for a real lot. So 60 times 36 million, you're looking over like $2 billion evaluation. So you're making revenue, not even profit, even though a lot of that is profit, $36 million in a year, which is great because that means you got a proven system, and those numbers, so far it's at a 10 times growth market over this year to last year. I'm meeting a lot of people. That's why I know this, and I am trusting them at their word and doing some research, but that does seem to pan out because I'm checking out what these earnings are in some of these guys. That's a $2 billion would it be evaluation from a $36 million revenue. I mean, can you imagine having 5 of those companies? So the thing is, if you get in at one of these things early enough, I mean, to be worth $100 million is actually, that's how this stuff happens. You got to get in early, like in plastics, in any of those things, railroad, whatever it is. I don't know if there's many left now. I mean, there always seems to be something coming up. If you would have gotten on the internet like in 1992, you just see what the return. You got like on Amazon in 1996, or these kind of companies. Even if you got in on a mediocre company that never made it, they always get a run. So you get that little run, like Mark Cuban. I think if he would have hung on another year, he would have been bust. But he had great timing, and he made billions of dollars. So if you get in early enough, and that's what I'm looking at, and with my connection, you can literally, I mean, that's how you make 10 to 20 to $50 million. You just got to get in early, be patient for a couple of years, have the evaluations take off, because they're a little bit, like the internet, even though they were making no money back in 96, 97, if you remember, like zero revenue, those things were still trading in the billions of dollars market cap. This hemp world, there is substance behind it. There's a big medicine benefit, and this Farm Act just passed in 2018, and I mean it just seems ripe over the next couple years. And when I go out there, you don't know it if you live in New Jersey what's really going on out there. I went out there. It's a beautiful state, by the way. It's probably the top 5 states in the country. Why I don't know. It just, you got the mountains, you got it's like open, it's outdoors. Everyone, of course, if you go on vacation, but everyone's friendly anyway. But it seems very friendly. They got great sports teams. The food is actually unbelievable. I mean, it has everything. The other 4, I'll give you my quick top 5 states. I got to say New Jersey's top 5 because I live here. I got to say Florida. I got to say North Carolina. I go Texas and then California. Maybe New York too. So those are my top 5 or 6. But anyway, I was there for 2 nights, and through just whenever you get into anything, you just start to brainstorm and things happen. Sort of like the field of dreams. Build it, it will come. So as soon as you get your subconscious going, and I was kind of doing that, trying to figure out, now I need to know more. I need to find experts, and lo and behold, I found some things out by serendipity, basically, and I got a couple of experts that I actually met there that happened to be there that week, that that are helping me fill my knowledge. That they have 2 to 3 years full knowledge to my 1 week of knowledge. So you can learn a lot by other people by just them telling you what the story is. So. Not only, like I said before, do you learn from people's mistakes, you could also learn from people's successes, and then you could latch on to them. So that's what I'm in the process of doing to kind of figure this thing out. And, it's just nice to have hope and dreams of something huge and on something that, could be a once in a lifetime. You always hope it's not, because you hate to think that it's a one-time shot, but things always will come up if you look for them, So anyway, so that was my trip, and it went great. I'll keep you updated on that over the next 3 weeks, and like I will, every 3 or 4 weeks as I fill in my my podcast with real interviews. I'm not going to call the interview with me a fake interview, because I am real, but you know what I mean. It's an interview with me. So those are the 3 things. I'm going to do my hit and miss. I'm going to do some different ones this time, because that's part of my segment, and you may not like it, but I'm going to tell you what comes to my mind first on a couple of things I just randomly wrote down. And it's hard to do it by yourself, because you don't want to think ahead. Oh, what am I going to say? But I literally wrote these down. I'm just going to look at them now and see what I say. Okay. Lifting weights. Lifting weights is very important to your life because you got to build your muscles, and it helps you look better because it helps your self-esteem, which I think is really the most important part about it, along maybe with a close tie of the health aspect of having your muscles strong, your bones strong, and but I think self-image is very important, especially in the world we live in, and everything's sales these days. In most days, I mean, you got to persuade people on certain things, and you got to learn. And so I think how you look's important. People seem to gravitate to people that are in shape, that look good. There's always the exceptions of all that, but so lifting weights to me is all that. I think it's most self-esteem, and then health is a close second. Sneezing. Sneezing. I guess everybody does it, and it's an allergy situation kind of when you sneeze. It actually feels good after you sneeze, whatever it is out. I had chronic sneezing back when I was in my 20s. I don't even know how I got it. I think I was allergic to a dog, and I was around some smoke, and I got rid of it after I went to a chiropractor, So I kind of credit the chiropractor for helping my system get through that. So that's sneezing, whatever. Okay, TV. TV is great. Growing up, it was kind of how you learn the world, through your TV, through your sports. It's not real, but it gives you a little taste of reality, and then you can kind of zone out and watch a great movie at 11 o'clock at night, and it kind of fulfills little fantasies of maybe how to be, and it just gives you entertainment if it's something funny. So TV is important, I mean, I don't know how much you should watch a day. I know some people watch like 8 hours, which is probably too much, but I think a couple hours of TV every once in a while is okay. Just be careful of the news because there's a lot of negative stuff. They want to get you to watch the negative stuff because people get, fear's a big draw, so just be careful on the news. I usually try to stay away from that because you really don't know what the real truth is on the stuff, and it just kind of scares you. I kind of wish there was a TV network for like good stuff, just all, because every day there's about maybe 20 trillion things that are good are happening, and why aren't they mentioned? So I like to lean toward the good. Maybe there would be one day a good TV news station to kind of get rid of all this negative type of TV. Favorite all-time athlete? Oh, easy. Babe Ruth, number one. He still is hoovering over the baseball world. I mean, Babe is up there, So it's not even close to me. He was like a bigger than life guy, and the stats that he had were amazing. The way he looked, he was like kids. The whole thing. I mean, there was a tremendous amount of great baseball players and influences, but to me, the Babe, the Salt and the Swat, SWAT's number one. Could Babe Ruth play today? Yes, there's no question in my mind he could. If you look at the if you look at the baseball, there's adjustments going up. Babe played with Lou played with DiMaggio. Now you're entering the modern world with Joe DiMaggio. He played with Ted Williams. He played with Mickey Mantle, Mays, all the way up, and those guys were great. So the lineage goes right up to it. So there's no question of Babe Ruth, because of the improvements and of the health and so forth. Okay, if you planted him like right now from then, who knows? I mean, if you planted George Mikan now into the NBA, I mean, it's unfair because every generation learns from the next, and you learn new moves and you learn new stuff. But, Babe would definitely, he would make the adjustment, and he would be as great now as he was then. And, he was just so far ahead of just about everybody in his prime. I don't like the argument when people say he couldn't play today because, back then you didn't have the black ball player. But, okay, say you did. All right, maybe you have a couple great pitchers like a Bob Gibson and a Joe Black or whatever, that were as good as Christy Matthews. Okay, so you have a couple more good pitchers. Okay, so you make adjustments. Maybe you have a little difficult time against those guys a little bit, but then maybe you could hit them too, because most of these great ball players have trouble against, if you notice, some of the mediocre pitchers, like these great players. I know Willie Mays said his hardest guy, I can't remember his name, but he was like a 14 and 15 pitcher per year. So, Babe would have adjusted, and he's by far my favorite athlete. Okay, last one, favorite cartoon. I liked Popeye when I was a kid, and now I gotta go SpongeBob because I think it's funny. I watch the SpongeBob with my kids, and SpongeBob's a pretty funny guy. Along with what's that guy's name? The star. Peter. Patrick the Star, so that's probably my, the visual's nice, it's colorful, it's underwater, so SpongeBob's my favorite cartoon. That's it for today. I look forward to the next time. This is Ray K. See you next time.